Beauty!
Guys in the Gulf.
Oh, fancy new microphones.
Very fancy, mate. What do you reckon?
Oh, mate, it's I've been looking forward to this. There's been a few people out there. I'm just going to get the stopwatch going. Whoops.
Yeah, it's been going pretty good. A lot of people liking what's going on. So
Yeah, well, there's a few of them out there that have been harassing us saying when's episode 7. So
well, it's right now.
here it is.
As you listen to it.
Yep.
So we're nearly back up into date now. So
Yeah, well, this episode will be uploaded in 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's very current.
yeah, so it's Wednesday today.
Yeah.
So it'll be back up on Friday, and then hopefully we'll be back on schedule again now. Now that we're sort of back into it a bit. So welcome to episode 7, guys. Thanks everyone that's been listening already for the first 6 episodes. It's been going really well. Looking at all the stats on Acast, and that's quite interesting actually.
Yep.
Looking at it and looking at it's all going in the right direction. So, and on YouTube as well, mate. There's plenty of people watching that, and so it's pretty good. It's very exciting. Going really well. So you just got back a couple of days ago. But you travelled down to Queensland for Christmas and New Year's?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, so did a few weeks down there with the family. So my wife and my 2 kids travelled down. We originally were going to fly, but then we decided to drive. I think I even mentioned it on the podcast that we were going to drive and try and sell some merch on the way, which we did, and which was a bit of a spin out because, on the first day we tried it, I put out a little 1-minute video. We're at Camooweal, which is, an hour from Mount Isa, and saying, all right, guys, we're an hour from Mount Isa. We're going to be travelling through here, I can't remember where, Cloncurry and all that today. And
So just talk about that. So for people that haven't travelled from Queensland to here before, so there's a few different ways you can go. Like you can go the southern route, which takes you sort of long reach down to Roma and then across to Toowoomba and then the end of the coast that way.
Yeah.
Or you can go like the very top way, which you go from Mount Isa across.
Hughenden, Richmond, Charters Towers to Townsville.
Yeah.
And then there's the middle way, which is what we went, which was you go straight at Barcaldine rather than going south. So you go across from Barcaldine. I've got a mental blank. I can't even think of what's across.
And it takes you basically across to like Rockhampton. Basically.
Rockhampton, yeah. And then we went south from there down.
And that's the way you went, the middle way.
The middle way, yeah.
So it's about from here to like you ended up roughly you went to Harvey Bay first, is that right?
Yeah.
And so from here to Brisbane, I think it's about just on 3,000 k's.
Something like that, yeah.
So Harvey Bay would be a little bit less.
Yeah, a few hundred less.
Yeah. So you went from here. The first day you got to
Camooweal.
Camooweal, stayed the night there, which is pretty good. It's not a bad stop there. I don't mind staying there.
Yeah. There's a little pub there, the Post Office Hotel, I think it is.
Yep.
We just stayed in a cabin or a room out the back there, which was good. Went up for a feed and a few schooners, and then tried to settle the kids to sleep after being stuck in the car all day. So they had a bit of energy to get out. But
that's about 800, 900 k's from here, 850, something like.
Yeah.
So when
you can do Mount
kids, it's
with kids everything takes longer. Yeah.
And it's a rough road as well, like that going down the tablelands and then
my wife called it pothole breeding season at the moment. There's the first 100 k's from Cape Crawford, just up the road here, down. The first 100 k's down is not too bad. A lot of it is two lanes and not too bad. But when you get down towards Barclay Homestead, the Barclay Highway there, there's some big potholes that are not pleasant when they sneak up on you.
Yeah, it's big sky country out there too, very flat. Like you can pull up there and you can, as far as the eye can see, 360 degrees, you can't see a single tree or anything. It's just dead flat.
Yeah.
You can almost see the curvature of the earth. It's that flat there. It's like being in the middle of the ocean almost. Big cattle country, so a lot of AACO sort of stuff down there, and like big stations, Burnett Downs.
Like million-acre size sort of stations.
Millions of acres, yeah. So, famous Burnett Downs races down there, mate. So, across there, Camooweal, and then the next morning pulled up in Isa and caught up with some people there.
Yeah, so we put a message out that morning, and we were literally an hour from Mount Isa, and so by the time we got there, we had messages coming through from people saying, oh, yeah, we'd love to meet you. Yeah, we'll come in. I want to buy a shirt. I want to buy a hat, this sort of thing. So we had a few people there and taking selfies with people and doing videos for their kids and stuff like that. It was, a real spin out that I'm just me and I make fishing videos and people think I'm special. Like, I
It's
don't know.
far, a long way
Yeah,
away too.
yeah.
1,000 k's from here.
Yeah, like, but yeah, people are excited to meet me, and it's still a spin out that's the case. But yeah, it was really cool. That was probably my favourite stop, man. We actually stopped there on the way up. We actually stopped at a pub and met some of the same people and a few extras as well.
Yeah.
And had a few beers with them. They're awesome people. I'm trying to get them up to King Ash Bay this year. Hopefully come up here.
A little bit of fishing, yeah.
Yeah.
So then from there, where'd you go? Where's the next stop from there?
I can't even think.
So go down to Cloncurry, turn off at Cloncurry, start heading south.
Yeah, so down through McKinley, Kainoona, Winton. Winton was our next stop.
Again, so for people that don't know, so McKinley, that's like Walkabout Creek Hotel. Like that's like where Crocodile Dundee was filmed, in the middle of the desert, pretty much. And then the Blue Heeler Hotel
at Kainoona. Yeah. And these are both towns with population maybe 8. Yeah. They're not big.
Not very big anyway. Smaller than King Ash Bay.
Yeah. But then next town was Winton, which there's a good bakery there. So got a pie at Winton. Oh, no, I'm thinking of Longreach. Longreach, that's got the
Qantas Museum.
Yeah. Longreach is the one with the bakery. It's the Merino Bakery, it's called.
Yeah.
I get a pie there every time. Buck Holden's got a good bakery. It's all about the bakeries all the way down, mate.
Longreach, that's that's the Qantas museum there, because obviously Qantas was started just near, not actually at Longreach, but just near Longreach. Because Qantas is obviously Queensland Northern Territory Airline Services was what it started as. So it sort of started that area. And then it's... what else is something else interesting about
That's not the Stockman's Hall of Fame, or is that Winton?
No, that's there as well. Stockman's Hall of Fame is in Longreach as well.
Okay.
And then all the streets are named after birds, I reckon.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure all the streets are named after, Pelican Street and Sparrow Street and Emu Street and things like that. So, something interesting. People travelling around.
Yeah. Another thing on the way, when I met people along the way, even people that I didn't plan on meeting, but just randomly, for example, on the way home in Winton, at the servo, there was a lady there that pulled me up and was like, I was just listening to your playlist. I'm like, oh, which one? She goes, oh, the Golf Mud Crabbers one. So our Spotify playlist. And I could just tell by just her body language that she wasn't very impressed. So I'm like, oh, look, I know there's a few wobbly ones in there, but look, every song in that playlist has a meaning.
Yeah, they got a meaning.
And a reason why we put it in there, yeah. And she's like, oh, we're going to start our own one. And I think I got a message randomly yesterday or the day before from her saying, oh, it's the lady you met at the petrol station at Winton, and here's a link to our playlist that we started. So I have to go and have a listen.
So that was just somebody travelling as well?
Yeah, they were heading south. So they did the opposite to us. They'd been in Darwin for Christmas visiting family.
Yeah.
And they were heading back down south, and we just crossed paths. Yeah, someone
cool.
I'd never met before, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we did the whole family thing, family and friends. We stayed we must have stayed in 30 different beds.
Yeah.
On the whole trip between visiting everyone and that. It was great seeing, family and friends, and the grandkids love spending time with everyone.
It's such a hard thing too, because especially I know you've got a lot of people that from down the Goldie and all around that East Coast sort of country.
Yep.
It's the same for me, having gone to school down there, and then I've got some family down there as well, and then every time you get away, it's so difficult trying to catch up with everyone. And then my missus is all her family, is down there. So, trying to catch up with everyone, especially if you've only got a couple of weeks, you end up, doing more travelling than anything.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a pain sometimes.
Yeah.
It's hard just to get away and relax. But you managed to find some time to yourself, mate, and do a bit?
We did, yeah. So I think we booked into an Airbnb in Brisbane, right in South Bank on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
We arrived New Year's Eve. We actually arrived there at 3 p.m. to our first ever Airbnb. And we walk in and there's rubbish on the floor and the beds haven't been made and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh.
You haven't told me this one.
I'm like, oh, what's going on? So, Jazz rings up whatever number and it goes through to a cleaning service. So it must all be outsourced. It's not done by the owner.
Yeah.
And, they just haven't cleaned. So it's all the stuff from the previous customers are still in
Lovely.
there, and we're like, and it's New Year's Eve. So probably by the time we get through, it's probably getting close to 4 o'clock. And then they say, oh look, if you leave the room for an hour and a half, we'll get some urgent cleaners to come in and clean the room. All right. well,
That is all with kids as well. You
yeah,
had the
yeah,
kids
and we've
then?
been travelling all day because anyway, because we'd packed up where we were staying the night before down on the Gold Coast, and big day. And, so we start driving, and we get probably 25 minutes from the hotel room, and Jazz gets a phone call. Where are the keys? You didn't say to leave the key, like, the cleaners can't get into the room. So then we're like, we just went through like 3 tolls as well. So we've paid money to travel away from here.
And Brisbane traffic.
Yeah, oh man. And coming from somewhere like here, where you're not used to cars, like the first 2 days driving in Brisbane, I was like, I got PTSD, man. Like,
Yeah, it stresses me out too, mate. Every time I go somewhere and hire a car or something.
Yeah, by the end I was fine with it, but yeah, far out. Anyway, so we're like, all right, let's turn around. Jazz is almost in tears. The kids are screaming. We go back. We get the keys to these cleaners, and anyway, but by the end, we come back. Yeah, an hour and a half later, or whatever it was, and the place was immaculate. And we go out on the balcony, and I'll bring up a photo. Actually, I'll show you we met with the skyline of Brisbane, which we weren't expecting. This was the cheapest room we could find, so we weren't firstly expecting to be able to see like the beautiful Brisbane skyline. And then when the fireworks started at 9 o'clock, we got a perfect view of them from our balcony. So the kids are flipping out. They absolutely loved it.
That worked out pretty good.
It did. Even when we actually first went out, when we first opened the sliding door to go out, and it was dark, and little Artie, he looks up and goes, "Space station!" He points up in the air and says, "Space station!" And I'm like, "Oh, it's all right, buddy. It's probably just a plane or something." And I have a look. I'm like, "There's no flashing lights on that." I said, "There's no way. Like timing wise, like you get a perfect view of the ISS like a few times a year or whatever, you know." So I thought, I do have the ISS spotter app on my phone, so I whip it out and have a look. I'm like, straight over the top of Brisbane is the International Space Station. I'm like, what? Yeah, so it was like it was almost like a sign from I don't know who, but to say that everything's going to be all right. Like this is the start of something good. And as a result, we did have a great trip there. We went straight across the road was the Brisbane. That's on the other side of the river. Yeah. The museum, so we took the kids there to see the dinosaurs stuff, and the South Bank, the big pools there. Have you ever been to them in Brisbane? It's like all sandy beaches, but man-made.
Yeah, years and years ago.
It's incredible. Like it's a really, really, really nice spot. Yeah, so that was pretty much my trip. So I got back 2 days ago.
So that was New Year's. You went
New
Year's, and then you went.
We still went back to Harvey Bay again for a couple of nights, and then we've flown through to here. So,
but you dropped the kids off with the in-laws.
Yeah, and they're actually driving them up to Darwin, then which meant my wife and I came here. But we had strategically left my car here at King Ash Bay on the drive down, so that we had to stop at King Ash Bay on the way up.
Yeah.
So now I'm here. So my wife's driven back to Darwin. My kids are in Mount Isa tonight, and I'm here at King Ash Bay. So I've got probably a week here.
Yeah.
And then go up. Little Artie starts prep, prep. So his first year of school.
Yeah.
They call it different things in different states, but
transition.
Transition.
Yeah.
Far out. Yeah, it's transition.
Because you have like transition then year 1, I think.
Yeah, so he's just below year 1, whatever that's called. Transition. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole heap of stuff. That's a lot of information from me. What about you? What have you been doing?
I've been fairly quiet, mate. Not a whole lot. Went up to Darwin for Christmas. Was back here for New Year's though. But took Katie up. Katie went down to her family for Christmas and that, as she usually does. So she's still away actually for a few more weeks. But she flew out Christmas Eve or the day before, the 23rd or something maybe. And then I just went to my brother's for Christmas Day, Boxing Day. My brother's got called out and ended up being at work for a fair bit of it. But no, it was good to catch up with the nieces and sister-in-law and that. And then a heap of other fellas that I've known since I was a kid and that. Went to another fella's place for Christmas Day, which is really good. And mostly all coppers. So it was good fun though. But he had a few beers, which I haven't been drinking. But then Christmas Day ended up having a few beers, and then Boxing Day ended up having a few beers. So catching up with people and that. So that was pretty good. And then pretty much just came back here the day after Boxing Day, I think. Came back to King Ash with my old man, and got off the beers again. Haven't had a drink until you got back pretty much last night. Ended up having a few beers last night with you down the club.
Yeah.
But haven't been doing a whole lot, mate. Just pretty much kicking back at home. A little bit of stuff, work stuff of boat maintenance and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So, like being sort of your off season, so when you're not crabbing at this time of year, like do you go through every crab pot? Do you service engines? What?
Yeah, so a bit of stuff. So engine servicing and that sort of basic sort of maintenance. Some bigger sort of stuff. I'll probably take it to the servo here. And get Tamo or Jamie or someone to bloody do some stuff for us. But there's all the sort of basic maintenance that you can do yourself, like just changing gear oil and engine oil, and then fixing broken crab pots. I've got mostly fairly all new pots, so I'm pretty well ready to go for this season. So, normally this time of year that's what everyone does. You pull your crab pots out and you go through and any barnacles or anything like that you got that grows on your floats and ropes and stuff, clean that up, and then make repairs to the funnels, because obviously the crabs chew the funnels and stuff in your crab pots, and it's only sort of plastic, so you repair those sorts of things, replace the anodes on the crab pots, because obviously we use steel pots, and they do rust if you don't have anodes, sacrificial anodes on them, so which is just basically zinc blocks or aluminium blocks sometimes. So you replace those so your crab pots last a bit longer. Yeah.
So your ones are galvanised as well?
Yeah, they're hot dip galv. The wires gal dipped. Basically, and then then it gets cut out and folded up, made into a crab pot. Some guys actually, once they've folded the wire, because it comes in rolls like fencing mesh sort of thing. Once they actually get it into the shape of a crab pot before they put anything on it, then they'll actually send it to the galvanisers and get it dipped again.
So double dip.
So they last a bit longer, but
they're the ones you see that have the spiky bits on it.
Sharp bits on it. Yeah, when they've only come back from the galvanisers, until they've been used for a bit, they've got a lot of sharp bits on them. So you got to be careful.
Where it's sort of dripped and solidified.
Yeah, and they can be really sharp too. So you got to be careful with those ones, but. Yeah, I don't bother so much with that. I just use the sacrificial anodes, and the extra money it costs you to get them galvanised. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Yeah, it's nearly as economical just putting the anodes on them and running them out when the bottoms start to rust, because the bottoms rust out first, obviously, because they sit on the bottom. Once they start rusting out, you can patch them up a bit. But if you look at if the crabs aren't staying in the crab pot, it's way more economical just to put a new crab pot in there and start catching crab, because obviously you don't have to catch a whole lot of crab to pay for that equipment. So it's for me, I get a guy who makes all mine in Darwin, so it's much easier for me just to put a new crab pot in there, fix up basic stuff, entrance, funnels and stuff like that when you need to, but other than that, mate, pretty much just bang new ones in and
So even though we call it like the off season, like when you're not crabbing and there's no one crabbing at the moment, it's not like Queensland. Like you're not by law forced to stop. Like there's not an open and closed season. You could crab 365 days a year
if you wanted to. You could, but it's not really viable this time of year, obviously. And I think we've spoken about it before. Like with the wet season, you just don't like. One, it's not good fun when you're out there and it's bloody, pissing down with rain and windy and you get storms and things like that. And then the river comes up, so you can't have your boat in the water all the time. You've got to pull your boat out, and then it's just, the quality of crab isn't there. Yeah, and it gives them a good time to to build back up again as well. So obviously the crabs have gone out and bred out in the ocean, and gives them some time to come back in again. So we'll start off again. Most guys will probably wait until the end of next month, so like end of February sort of thing, maybe early March. I think I started about mid-March last year. Which is, it'll be a little bit later for me. It'll probably be towards the end of March this year because going away.
But that's still pretty early, isn't it? Because if we've had a decent wet season, all this water up here will still be fresh. So, for example, I remember being out with you and Young Boy last year. He would literally fill up big drums of seawater from outside the mouth in his boat and bring it back up. So when he has to water his crabs throughout the week back at home, he's using salt water, not fresh water from up here. Yeah,
because obviously the crabs are tied, put into baskets, and they're kept alive. So you need to keep the water up to them, give them a drink a couple of times a day, especially if it's warm. And you can't use fresh water. If you use rainwater, they'll die. It'll kill them. So you can wet the hessians and stuff down with tap water and that, but it's not good to give them a drink with it. So you use the salt water, and obviously I think here it's probably maybe some places like on the East Coast, perhaps you can give them a bit of fresh water. They might not mind it as much.
Yeah, right,
I'm not really sure, but I know here like the salinity levels in the ocean here are a lot higher than other places. Like the Gulf of Carpentaria is very, very salty water.
Yeah.
So it's that big difference between that really, really salty water and then fresh water. I think is probably more the problem. We just cart salt water from the ocean back in the afternoon. So you've got obviously big deck wash bilge pump set up on your boat. So you just fill up a plastic 44 gallon drum. So you get a couple hundred litres of salt water, and then bring it back and then pump it up into the crab shed. So you've got salt water there that you can water the crabs with. But most of the other guys are away. I know like Young Boy's over in Cambodia, or he was in Thailand the other day, but I know he's over that area, so he was in Cambodia the other day, and then he was in Thailand the other day, but I know he went to Cambodia first. So I caught up with him actually in Darwin, him and his wife and his family went and had dinner down at Seafood on Cullen there, down what is it?
Cullen Bay.
Yeah, of course it is. Cullen Bay. Just near not far from between the casino and Cullen Bay Marina. Really nice spot down there. Bloody favourite. So went down there and had a feed, Seafood on Cullen, and then went for a walk along the sort of foreshore type thing there with Young Boy and Young King.
Yeah, he's a little boy.
So, no, it was good fun, mate. Good to catch up with them in Darwin, and then I think probably be another month or so. I'll probably catch up with Young Boy in Darwin before I fly out, but to go on holidays. But he'll be back here, I'd say, in another month or 6 weeks or something. Yeah. Because same thing, like I live here all the time. Most of the other guys go away for a few months, so they'll come back before they start working, and then they'll do some, maintenance and, repair crab pots and get organised and, clean up after the wet season. A lot of poisoning all the weeds and, trimming trees and,
Which is wild. Like I poisoned around my place here, poisoned before I left, and I come back and it's as if I didn't even do it. That was only 3 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, that's it. You run the mower at the moment, mate, and you turn around and it's grown back again. So you're pretty much constantly mowing lawns and poisoning weeds and that sort of stuff this time of year.
So what's the river been like? Is it been up and down?
Well, as people will know, like we had a really good start to the wet season early on. So November, December, I think we got some good rain, and then from sort of we didn't have anything then. From Christmas right through New Year, we got nothing. Right up until a few days ago, we started getting a bit of rain. So all that big low that we talked about in the last episode.
From Jasper,
Yeah, from Jasper, like that didn't make it far enough across for us where I thought we were guaranteed to get some good rain. That sort of didn't make it all the way across into the Gulf, or close enough to us to affect us. So it ended up taking all the moisture away, and we ended up getting nothing until a few days ago. So, but now we've been getting some good solid rain the last few days, and looks like we're going to be getting a fair bit more. So currently we've got the low pressure system off the east coast, which looks like it could form into a cyclone and come back into the east coast there somewhere, maybe Bundaberg, even maybe south of Bundaberg somewhere.
Yeah, wow.
And then there's obviously the other low which came across from the Joseph Bonaparte Gulf, so which is south of Darwin, southwest of Darwin, so towards the Western Australian border, Kununurra area. And that low's come across sort of the middle of the territory almost.
Darwin's been getting bulk rain up there.
Yeah, so obviously what happens is when you get a low pressure system like that, when this low pressure system's to the south of you, it's drawing all the moisture in from the north. So because there's quite a good monsoonal flow at the moment, so a lot of moist air to the north of the territory. That low brings all that moisture back down. So obviously Darwin, Adelaide River, Kath from Daly River. I think Daly River and Adelaide River are both on they're both looking fairly closely at the rivers and stuff there.
Flood watch and that.
Yeah, flooding and stuff. So. So obviously if you're listening and you're around there, you'll know all about that. But if you plan on going to any of those places, you probably want to check it out before you travel. But obviously anyone in Darwin would know because they've been under a lot of rain for the last few days now, week or so, which is good because all that floodplain country and stuff like that. That's what we talked about. You have when we talked about Barra a couple of episodes back. They're good wet seasons when you have good.
All that
Barra
water,
breed well.
Yeah, all that water that falls around Catherine, that goes down through into the Daly. It's a big catchment there. So
massive catchment.
There'll be people, and there's a lot of people that fish the Daly every year, and they've got the the Nationals and the Barra Classic every year there, so they'll be very excited to see that river come up a long way.
Yeah.
They'll love that.
Yeah, I think Timber Creek's right up as well. The river there, Big Horse and whatever. What else?
So if someone wanted to, so our river here though, if people can keep track of the MacArthur River, there's three locations that is on the BOM website.
Yeah, so there's we can put a link on in the show notes or whatever. Or we can put it on our Facebook page or whatever like that if people want to check it out. Guys in the Golf Facebook page. We'll put a link there to, so there's river gauging stations. So there's 3 that we look at that are on, there's 3 gauging stations on the MacArthur River. So one is...
You keep talking about it, I'm going to grab your beer, eh?
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Yeah, so there's 3 gauging stations. One is at Borroloola, and then upstream from Borroloola at MacArthur River Mine, which is about 60 kilometres. There's another gauging station there. And then upstream from MacArthur River Mine, there's a gauging station which is called Bailey's Grave. So we can look at the river heights and what the river's doing at Bailey's Grave, and then if it's coming up a lot, then the day or two later you'll see MacArthur River will come up, that MacArthur River Mine will come up a bit, and then you look at the one in Borroloola and it'll start coming up. So, when you can have it takes several days from the water at Bailey's Grave to get down to King Ash Bay, basically.
I've always assumed, but the Bailey's Grave one, that's somewhere near Cape Crawford, yeah?
Yeah, just near Cape Crawford, I think.
So on the drive up, I actually got the drone up on the Tablelands Highway where you cross over, you cross over the MacArthur River there. I actually got the drone up to see if there was much water around just 2 days ago.
Yeah. What did it look like up there?
You can see the river has been flowing, but it's only fairly small there, so it's the sort of thing that will go up and down really quick. So there was water there, but just not much.
Yeah.
So, nothing too exciting. But it's, like big escarpment country, though.
Yeah. It's almost like driving into the Kimberley, that little section there, and it's like you don't see it again, like coming this way anymore. You don't see it. Like it's all sort of flat country again, but it's weird because you just come off that massive big flat for 400 kilometres of dead flat, nothing, and then all of a sudden you come into that escarpment. It's like you're driving into the Kimberley. It's unreal.
It's from the road. Whenever I've driven along, I've driven along there, and between there and even down towards MacArthur River Mine and all that, it just looks like little hills. But they're not. You get up to the top of that, and then it flattens off at the top, and it goes forever.
Yeah,
they're not hills. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where the Lost City and that is in there as well.
Yeah, rightio. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if anyone's doing trips in there anymore, but you used to be able to go on a helicopter from Cape Crawford Heartbreak Hotel and do a helicopter tour around the Lost City there. Which is pretty cool. So the river here hasn't come up much. It's just started to get dirty the last maybe 4 or 5 days or so. It's just started to get dirty water. So up until then, it was been salt water, very crystal clear, like really clear water. But now it's like coffee coloured almost.
Yeah. So the water's coming out off the plains sort of thing. Not that we have much plains, but off the flats. And
all them big flats we just talked about. Hundreds of k's of all the catchment there's been getting rain, especially the last couple of days. It's really started to ramp up there with that low that we just spoke about coming across from the west. It's to our west by a couple hundred k's, I suppose, 300 k's, but it's bringing all that moisture down. So we're getting all this cloud coming in from the Gulf and from our sort of northwest. All this cloud coming down and generating heaps of rainfall inland and that. So obviously it washes dirt into the creeks, into the rivers, and then it flows down so that dirties the water up. But it's good to see this time of year. We want a good flow in the river. Hopefully that low hangs around for a bit or keeps moving across this way, and we get some more rain and actually brings the river up. Obviously we don't want any flooding or anything like that, but if the river comes up 5 or 6 metres and then stays up for a period of time. Yeah,
like even if the bridge in Borroloola goes underwater, that's still a minor flood, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but it doesn't really affect anyone other than a couple of roads. Like if you're heading across the top road, the top road to the east now is completely cut off. You can't get anywhere there because the Wirian and the Falsh and those rivers are all flooded. So, that's a dirt road anyway. But so that road's well and truly cut off. But other than cutting off sort of the outstations and stuff out there, it doesn't really affect too many people. Other than sort of Robinson River community obviously gets affected a bit by it because you can't drive backwards and forwards to Borroloola, and most of their freight is road freighted in. But they fly stuff in there to the store, and I'd say there's minimal people there this time of year anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone's pretty used to it out there. So
well, there's not many people here, I can tell you that. Like, which is typical of this time of year at King Ash Bay. So pub was open last night for a couple of hours, and we had maybe 6 people.
Yeah, well, you and Billy were there.
Yep.
Mish was running the bar.
Yep.
Brett from Weeby and Leah and Grubb that have been out there
Yep.
looking after Brett's place for him.
Yep.
So that was it.
Yep. Yeah. So
that was us.
That's all done.
Yeah, no, it's pretty quiet this time of year, especially like right around Christmas, New Year's, and that. It's very quiet. There's very, very few people here.
Yeah.
There's two camps in the campground.
Yeah.
Um,
And both of them are people that either have been here the whole wet or that they come early every year.
Yeah, so it's not very common to have people coming this time of year, really.
No.
Not camping. I just had some guys, station guys from down that country, come into the lodge for a few days.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, I had 7 or 8 guys in there. Come down, just did a couple of days fishing. So, yeah, like we get a few, like at the lodge there, we do get a few station boys and stuff coming through.
Yeah. It's not really swag weather, is it?
Not in the rain. not when it's belting down at 2 o'clock in the morning, mate. No, it's not fun. So that's the sort of thing you could expect this time of year. Is it's very quiet, completely different to the middle of the season, obviously, because it's just everything's nice and green. Mowers running around flat out, and slashers running around flat out, just trying to keep the grass down.
The place looks amazing at the moment.
It's good, eh?
Yeah,
it's real good.
The golf course. I'll bring up a couple of photos of the golf course at King Ash Bay. If you've seen it before. During the dry season, check out these photos. It's
vastly different.
Yeah,
it looks like a golf course.
Or wetlands golf course. Yeah, sometimes you can have like 500 birds on there. Like
there's a few water hazards there at the moment.
What it's like even so? Do we run a smaller generator this time of year or?
Yeah, so obviously the peak of the season, we could have upwards of 400 or 500 people on site, or more. But this time of year, there's only a handful of people. Maybe if you actually went around and counted everyone up, you'd probably get to around about 40-odd people total.
Yeah, it could be that many.
But you don't see anyone because everyone sort of keeps themselves and that. So we're obviously only using a fraction of the power we normally would. Obviously, you still got things like the servos still running, but they reduce their freezers and fridges and stuff down to obviously they don't need that much. And then obviously we still have the bar and kitchen still operate. So even though it's only a few nights a week, so Tuesdays at the moment, I think it's Tuesdays, Fridays, Sundays.
Yeah.
But all the the cool rooms and freezers there have to be on all the time, so you still got to generate a fair bit of power, but it's nowhere near as much as the peak of the season. So we do have obviously several generators in the gen shed there, so we do go to a smaller set this time of year. But it's pretty quiet.
Yeah. Like even all the animals and that, like it's not uncommon to see 10 kangaroos running through the powered area, which you wouldn't see that during the dry season. Yeah,
constantly. Yeah, all the wallabies everywhere. Like on the golf course, especially after it rains, they always come out onto the golf course there, and there's bloody hundreds of them there. Yeah. As soon as you start getting water around, or grass, as soon as the grass starts to grow, you see heaps of big goannas, sand goannas. Like every time I'm on the mower, you see there's a big sand goanna living between my house and my neighbour. Massive big sand goanna there. He's around chasing all the frogs that I run over with a mower. And what else? Frillnecks. Yeah, always you see this time of year, again, as soon as you start seeing a bit of grass, them frillnecks come out from, I don't know where they hide, all dry season. But this time of year, you always see dozens of them. There was a big one just outside this window when I came in before. So you always see heaps of big frillnecks around. And then, you don't see too many snakes, see a few pythons and stuff. But you sort of more see them at the end of the wet season. I don't know. There seems to be like this timeline that they sort of follow. So I don't see many at the moment, but once it starts drying up a little bit, then you'll see heaps of snakes, So like, April sort of thing, March, April. Then you start to see heaps of them. So, it's a bit funny, but...
Well, even the fish get a break at this time of year. Not that we're even remotely overfished here at all, but during, like, I took a photo down at the boat ramp and put it on one of my Facebook pages the other day, and there's 0 cars. So 0 people went fishing that 2 days ago, which means 0 fish got taken from the entire catchment that day. And that would be common every second day at this time of year.
Well, and even if people are going fishing, it's only a couple of people. It's two or three people at a time, so it's almost nothing. And that's not just for here. Like that's, if that's nobody leaving from here, that means there's nobody fishing pretty much from the Queensland border, or east of the Queensland border. All the way through to, the roper. Well, the roper. I know, some people might be get fished the roper this year. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I think it's all flooded at the moment, so I don't think you can even get there.
On one of my previous trips before I went down for Christmas, that when I was driving back, I passed that many boats between like the roper turn-off and Darwin. It's that build-up time of the year. There was. Yep. I just assume they're all going to the roper. I think they might have had a good little season there. Good little build-up at the roper.
I think it's a pretty popular spot. Yeah, that build-up type. October, or September, October, November.
It's very accessible from Darwin. Like, what's only a couple of hours or a few hours from Catherine?
Mate, I can't remember. No, it's a fair while from Catherine. Like, it's still...
like a few hours.
You still got to drive, obviously, Catherine to Mataranka. There's 110 Ks.
Yeah.
And then I reckon depends where you go to. So Roper Bar from Mataranka to Roper Bar, I don't even know how far it is. Somebody let us know.
Yeah.
I should know. There's a few hundred Ks still, I reckon. And then from Roper Bar, depends where you're going to. If you're going all the way to the mouth, like I think there's another boat ramp right at the mouth of Roper. To get up there, that's a fair way as well, I think.
Yeah,
so
rightio.
I haven't been there, so I've driven from the Savannah Way from Borroloola through to Mataranka, only because we went to Lorella Springs and stuff. So, but I have been across that back way there, but only once, and it was a long time ago. I can't remember exactly what the distances were, but it is a fair way, and I think there's a fair bit of dirt too once you go, once you start heading north.
So what else? There's no real projects happening at this time of year around King Ash Bay. There's just the usual. It's probably mowing. That's probably the biggest job this time of year.
Yeah, mowing's flat out, mate. That's everything at the moment. But there's heaps of stuff going on in the background still, like organising stuff.
Yeah, so, Easter's early this year, and the Easter comp, the Easter Fishing Classic here at King Ash Bay is our big comp for the year.
Yeah, so that's well and truly, in the organising stages now. So I'm getting sponsorship for it and organising things. So that's going to be a really big one this year by the looks of it. So, which is quite exciting.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was in Darwin, I went and met with some guys about looked at buying another boat to raffle off for the club there.
Yeah, rightio. Because you got one last year.
Yeah, which was really good.
Yeah.
Went really well. So 4.5 metre one. I think it was a 435 or something like that. Last year with like a 50 Tiller Yamaha. It was really good. And then, so this year I think we'll try and get maybe a little bit bigger boat again, and just a little small improvement on last year and try and build that up. So, we well and truly covered our costs in that last year. So if we can do it again this year, that'd be really good. So looking at a couple of different options there, but some of the ones I looked at were really, really nice. So, we'll keep everyone posted about that as soon as we start. Selling raffle tickets and get that organised, then we'll let everyone know, obviously. There'll be heaps of stuff on if you're interested in coming to King Ash Bay or looking at, wanting to know what's going on. If you follow that King Ash Bay Fishing Club Inc. Facebook page, there's heaps of stuff on there. And then, and we've got Mikey's got his Facebook page as well, Mikey Cunningham Fishing, and then we've got King Ash Bay Lodge Facebook page as well. We try and, but pretty much we just share each other's stuff, what's going on around the place. We do our own things, and then, but anything that's going on at King Ash Bay, though, will be pretty much on any of those. You'll see on any of those things. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, getting that organised. What else is going on, mate? We've still got, plans for bar extension this year, so that's well and truly underway. We've got all the plans are done for it, and that's well and truly in the...
I assume you don't have an answer for this one, but also heaps of people comment in the comments asking, because we announced in the last podcast about this phone tower.
Yep.
What any idea of timeline? Like, is there anyone that can give you information about when that might happen?
It's not going to be 5 minutes. It won't be in the next few weeks.
No.
But ideally, it'll be completed this year.
Yeah, cool.
24. Awesome. So as early as 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
But as long as maybe 18 months.
Yeah.
But usually from the information that I've got so far, it's generally speaking roughly 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, okay.
So obviously it's not a small thing. Like, I think it's about $1.2 million or something like that for the actual infrastructure.
Yeah, wow.
And there's a lot of planning that goes into it, obviously. So first of all, we've got to work out where it's going to go. And a lot of people saying, how come the club has to pay for it too? I did see those comments. Lots of people were saying, like, why does the club have... We're not paying for it. It's been funded, so the fishing club's not paying for it. This is basically us, along with the network provider, so Telstra, basically put an application in to government for funding to put a tower there. So
that's federal government funding.
It's federal government funding, yeah. So there's several different programs that they operate, but one of them is the Black Spot program. So which is, you know, the government puts X amount of dollars in each year, and then people can apply to that program to get their tower funded. So and we've done it several times before and missed out. So it's our turn now, and so basically the money's been guaranteed by the federal government to get it. So it will happen. It is happening. But the next thing is the club will deal with Telstra now and look at exactly where it's going to go. And then we have to organise the land tenure, obviously, for where it's actually going to be built. So obviously we don't have an issue with it getting built anywhere as long as it's here somewhere. So that should be fairly simple. And then obviously the tower has to be designed, because they're not all just a one size fits all. The tower has to actually be designed. And then once it's all designed, then we go through planning approval. So everything has to be approved through DIPL, so Department of Infrastructure, Primary Industries and Logistics. So they have to approve the actual building of it, and then there's a period where the public can put in submissions if somebody disagrees with it. And I don't think we'll have any issues here, but certainly in some places people don't want a phone tower, or they don't want something built next to their house or whatever, or near their property or whatever. So you have to go through that process as well, which takes time, obviously. And then once all that's done, and everything's approved and squared away, then they can actually get the contractors in to start actually building it. And then once it's built, actually setting it up and getting it online. So at least 6 months, probably going to be closer to 12 at the maximum, maybe 18 months if there's any hiccups along the way. But we don't anticipate having any problems from anyone with it. Everyone's pretty keen to get it happening.
Nice.
Not just from King Ash Bay, but from Borroloola and around the area. Everyone's pretty keen to get it happening. So it should be fairly smooth. And
well, it'll improve signal in Borroloola, because
not in area, but in bandwidth, absolutely,
Because we'll be sucking bandwidth from the tower in Borroloola from people here, because people are running their Yagi antennas and whatever to Borroloola. So
the way I understand it, and I'm certainly no telecommunications expert, but the way I understand it, or the way it's been explained to me, is basically the phone tower, you need to look at it as like a garden hose, and the more people that are utilising it, the less pressure you're going to get. And the less pressure you get, that means the slower your internet download speed's going to be, the worse it's going to be. So it won't change your signal area, but everyone would have experienced where they've got full bars of service, but they can't download anything, or can't. I
was just about to say that, because you can have full
nothing
bars.
Works.
Oh man, that's when it gets so frustrating.
So that'll alleviate a lot of that issue, and then it'll be like a million people have said in the comments there now. It'll be an absolute game changer for King Ash Bay. And hopefully, we don't know exactly, obviously, how far the service will go, but I would imagine that we'll get service probably to the mouths of the rivers at least. Without any sort of external aerials or anything like that, because obviously it is flat country here. And it's not that far. I mean, it's 40 k's by river, but as the crow flies, it's not actually that far. So, and it's all flat. So I would imagine you should be able to get enough service out there to, at least send messages or whatever. So, but we'll see when it happens. It's pretty exciting. And it certainly opens up other things too, because, especially if you've got a bigger boat, you might want to put an aerial on your boat and run a smart antenna, and then you'll probably get service for miles out to sea, because obviously, again, it's flat. So it should be good, mate, where everyone's very much looking forward to it. So that's a very big achievement for the club to get that happening. Next thing is getting this bar extension done so that it's a bit more weather friendly, a bit more friendly for people that are here this time of year or early in the year. It's like we just mentioned, Easter's early this year. we could have the fishing comp on, have 300 people, 400 people there, and it could flog down with rain. And
Don't say
it. There's only enough undercover area for me and Mikey and a couple of others. So like that'll be good to get that. Obviously, again, that's a big project.
Yeah,
and
a lot of hoops to jump through, just like you were saying about the phone tower, between getting approval from Dipple and all the different stages.
Yeah, but we've got that well and truly. That's well and truly, getting down the road there now a bit.
Nice.
So all the plans have been done. It's with looking at getting approved at the moment. So the planning stuff. So yeah, hopefully that comes back all positive, and then we can actually start doing some costings and stuff, and start looking for some funding and that to get that happening. So that'll be pretty good. Very exciting for the club. Very exciting for those of us that are here, especially early in the year and late in the year.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing too. It doesn't just have to be the start of the year, the end of the year, and without being a climate change extremist, we have had rain in the middle of the year, which we wouldn't normally get. Last year, we got rain July, I reckon.
Yeah, well, even go back a few years. I remember when you first introduced me to the song, Slim Dusty song, When the Rain Tumbles Down in July. You, me and Bullfrog were sitting around a campfire at my place while it was raining in July.
Yeah.
And you introduced me to that song. So it does happen.
Yeah, well, even what about we cooked that pig on the spit on Anzac Day 2 years ago?
Yeah. So late April.
Yeah.
And had record-breaking rain for Anzac Day.
Yeah, it rained all day.
Yeah.
It flooded.
It did so. All right, here's some footage of Mullet cleaning the potatoes in the water we're standing in.
It was a show. We got there in the end, though, after about 12 hours. The pig cooked a little bit slower than we anticipated, but all's well that ends well. So, we might have to try that. Oh, we won't do it on Anzac Day this year. The Anzac Day this year, mate, we'll be on the road. After dawn service, probably.
Yeah.
Probably be sending it. Hopefully you can make it, mate. I know you're still on the fence. It's a quick trip.
Yeah, it's full on. But I'll definitely have FOMO if I don't go. I know that much.
Oh, for sure. I was sending you photos from the casino at the Gold Coast, mate. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that as much as I'm looking forward to going to Vegas, mate.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be good fun, I reckon. So what else has been happening, mate? So obviously still a couple of weeks away before I leave.
That was the podcast Royale, by the way, we were just talking about. If you haven't seen that previous episodes, podcast Royale on the Gold Coast, where different not us, but podcasters from around Australia are getting together and having a big charity boxing event sort of thing. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, it's going to be quite good.
Yeah.
So it's sold out straight away almost. So I'm quite looking forward to that.
Yeah.
The plan is, like, cause as we mentioned in the previous episodes as well, like you and I have run Anzac Day here for quite a while now.
Yeah.
Like organise the dawn service and that sort of thing. The actual service side of things anyway. Yeah. So we'll do that, and then after dawn service, probably jump straight in the car, head to Darwin, get on the plane, fly to the Gold Coast. I fly to Brisbane. Go to the Gold Coast, have a night there. Then the next day is the podcast Royale. Then recovery, 12 hours. And then back to Brisbane, back on the plane, back to Darwin, back in the car, 1,000 Ks back to here, back to work the next day.
Excellent.
About a 4-day turnaround, I think, for about 8,000 kilometres travelled. It's all right, though. Get amongst it.
Yeah, no, it'll be wild. It'll be wild.
So still not sure, because we mentioned already, like I've got a Toyota coming. It's supposed to be delivered to the place in Brisbane to get some stuff done now. So hopefully that's going to be ready when I get back in March from the States. But if it's not, then when we go down for that podcast Royale, then we'll jump in that and drive it back.
Yeah.
Drive it back then. So. Yeah, but I'm hoping it'll be ready in March because I've got heaps of other stuff planned when I get back. Pretty much flying to Melbourne from LA, overnight in Melbourne, fly to Brisbane, fly to Sydney. That night, Theo Von's coming to Australia.
Oh, yes.
So anyone that doesn't know Theo Von, comedian, he's bloody hilarious. So he's got a concert on that night. So go to the concert that night. Then the next morning, I want to go and have a tour of the. I've been to Sydney a couple of times, but I've never been to the fish market, Sydney Fish Market.
Yeah, rightio.
So I'm really interested to go and have a look at the auction floor and stuff. So I booked a tour on to do
An
that.
actual tour?
Yeah, it's a tour. It's
okay.
like 6 o'clock in the morning. So I got Theo Von that night. Brought out a few beers with Theo after it's just knocked off, and then straight to the fish market at 6 a.m. to go to the tour and have a look at that. No, it'd be interesting to see that end of it. Although I don't think there'd be. I'm assuming there might not be any crab from the territory there, but be interesting to see that side of it though and how it works, and then something to talk about. And then that night there's I think Chris Young is one of the American country music singer who's going to CMC Rocks. He's got a concert that night in Sydney.
Yeah, right.
So I'll go to that. I've got tickets to that already. Go to that night. Then the next morning fly to Brisbane. Hopefully pick the car up if it's ready. I've got to put 500 Ks on it before I can leave, so they can do some warranty tests and stuff like that, warranty checks and stuff like that on the suspension and everything. So I'll probably slip up the sunny coast, do a couple of days up there. I got my mum lives up there, so I'll probably see her. And then what else? Four-wheel drive shows on that weekend in Brisbane, so go to that on maybe Saturday. CMC Rocks is on
Four-wheel
that.
drive show, and you'll have your brand new four-wheel drive. Just leave your credit cards at home, mate. Serious.
CMC Rocks is on that weekend as well. I got tickets to CMC Rocks, so I'll probably slip out to Ipswich and go and watch a bit of that for the day on Sunday or something. And then, what else? Yeah, and then probably, hook it back to go up to Toowoomba on Monday or Tuesday, go see my dad's mum up there, Nan, and leave from there early the next morning then it's 2 days drive home. If I do punch out 1,400 Ks, 1,500 Ks for a day, I think it's about 1,400 Ks a day. I can make it home in 2 days from there, which will get me home at around about the 22nd of March, I think. Ready to get stuck into work. Then here for 1 month until the 25th, and then leaving the 25th of April to head back down to the Gold Coast again.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I don't know, I need a travel agent, I think. Yeah, so
travel agents out there.
I've got about 5 minutes to spare and all that travelling. And that's what we talk about though. Before we were talking about like when you're travelling down to the East Coast and you know so many people, you want to catch up with everyone. Quite often, because you don't get to go away that often. Like I haven't been away for 12 months.
Yeah.
So, like when I go away, I've only got a few weeks to fit everything in, and majority of that's going to be overseas. And then when I get back, I've only got like a week or 8 days maybe at most, sort of around that Brisbane coast area. Like I've got so many people I've got to try and catch up with. It's just an absolute mission, as well as trying to get some business stuff done there as well. You know, like I want to get another hire boat built for this season. So, that's again, it's all time dependent, but there'll be a bit of work in getting that sorted as well. So there's a day at least you're going to lose, sort of. So yeah, it is pretty hard when you travel, going away from here and you don't get much time.
Yeah.
So if you know me, don't complain that I didn't come see you, please. Because I'd love to go and see everyone, but it's just sometimes you just don't have the time. So yeah, so what's happening the next few days, mate? That's a month away still before I leave. So what's happening the next few days? It's raining,
mate.
so
yeah. Look, it's like I'm only here for a week for this trip, so I do need to get out fishing. But when you go on there and look at the weather report, and it's absolutely howling winds and raining all day, on and off all day, it's really uninspiring to go fishing. It really is.
Well, the thing is too, it's not like you're just going 5 minutes, even though we're only 300 metres from the boat ramp. It's an hour down the river to get to the mouth to go to properly go fishing. Just make a day of it. So you get down there and then it's blowing 20 knots and it's absolutely flogging down rain, and then you've got to drive back in it. It's not the most fun, and it's especially if you're doing it like you're not doing it to go get a feed, like you're sort of doing it to make a video for your YouTube channel. Yeah. So if it's flogging down with rain, you can't, like, audio is going to be up the shit. You're not going to be able to get any audio. Video is very difficult as well, obviously. Yeah. So although you run GoPros and stuff which are waterproof, it's still very difficult to get good shots and stuff in the rain.
The lenses are getting wet every 2 seconds, and it's
makes it very difficult to put out good quality content.
So I do need to get out there, but it's just I think slightly better weather is coming in a few days' time. So
yeah. Well, hopefully, if you're going to plan a trip, mate, I might be able to come out with you for a run. Yeah. Have a look around. So big plans for 2024, mate. What else is happening?
Oh, look, I need to sort of set some goals for 2024. Like, obviously, I would love for 2024 to be my metre barra.
Yep.
Caught hundreds of barramundi before, but still waiting for my metery. So, yeah, 2024, that could be the good one. Obviously, I want to just, for this year, the outlook, just keep growing my YouTube channel, keep working on this podcast and keep growing this. Just keep improving everything, and that's all I can do, really. So that's just, no specific goals as such in place, but just keep being a mad dog.
Not expanding into OnlyFans just yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet. It's
coming.
It's coming.
It's on
folks.
the cards, though. I'm willing to do it.
I'm much the same, mate. Much the same. Pretty stoked. This year's looking really good. So, we're pretty busy in just about everything we're doing. So, podcast is, we've got it up off the ground now. As people see or hear at least. This episode should sound a bit better. Like, we've spent a fair bit of money on equipment and stuff to try and get that little bit better quality, so that it's a bit easier to listen to. And we'll keep improving on that as we go. Obviously, neither of us wanted to drop 10 grand on the first week to on equipment and stuff, but that'll happen as we keep going and get more listeners and stuff, and start to build it up and build it into another sort of a business. Then we'll keep investing money into it and getting it better again. And the other thing is, I suppose, goals for the podcast is getting good people on to have a chat to. Like, we've just so far, I think, this is number 7 now. It's just been you and I, but the plan is this year, certainly, as people start to get back into town, there's plenty of interesting people with plenty of really cool stories that we want to have a yarn with, and share some different different stories and that from different people. So that's one big thing. Much the same with work, though. It's same as last year, pretty much. Just get in. Hopefully it's a good, hopefully we continue to get some good rain and that, and we have a good crabbing season. Will be nice.
Crabs, hopefully, yeah.
Certainly the tourist season's looking really, really good. The amount of bookings that we've got for the lodge and stuff is really, really good. Like, really solid all year.
Everyone's talking about how it's going to be a good year.
Everything's just going good, mate. And obviously we've got one high boat now, but we want to get another one up and going, because we've just got so many inquiries and that. And
so if someone wanted to hire the boat, they'd struggle to get it this year, or is it not?
Oh, well, that's why I want to get another one.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be too much of an issue just yet, but. Yeah. But obviously we haven't pushed that at all. Like, we haven't really advertised it or anything like that. It's just sort of been all natural and then natural growth. So we haven't even advertised it here at the club. It's all been word of mouth and that. So, and it certainly hasn't been we haven't treated it as a solid sort of separate business or anything like that. It's just sort of goes with the lodge and that. But this year we're certainly looking at setting that up a bit better and advertising it and stuff, and having a crack at that. And if it goes as well as I'm expecting it to, I think then we'll probably expand again pretty quickly. I've got. I'm waiting on a quote for a new boat now. Should be any day now. Should have that sorted, and then if that all works out, I'm pretty confident we'll keep expanding on that.
Yeah, nice.
Because there's definitely a need for it here, I think.
Yeah, because unless someone comes here with their own boat.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a lot of options for fishing.
Well, and it's not just that. One of the biggest things, and a lot of the things we get is people that bring their own boat here, but they haven't driven it for 12 months, they haven't been on the water for 12 months, and they put it in the boat ramp and they go to start the engine and nothing happens. All of a sudden they've got, and I mean, the servo can fix most things pretty quickly, and you can get parts here pretty quickly if it's urgent, but sometimes there's catastrophic issues, or somebody hits the rock bar, or whatever, has a major, or the trailer falls to bits of coming across after pothole breeding season. They do a trailer or something like that, and they can't get their boat here, and it gets towed to Darwin or towed back down south or something like that, on a truck or whatever, and they're here with no boat. So then that's try and fill that void as well. So there's people who come unstuck. They've got an option, so they don't just have to drive all the way back to Sydney or Brisbane or Melbourne or whatever, not have any fun. They can still still jump on the water and have a look around. And the good thing about the territory is it's pretty safe here. A lot of people around and stuff. We've got the radio repeater here, so you've got contact with people. Soon to be Telstra Tower, so we'll have phone comms hopefully for most of the river systems. But you don't need a boat license here. Like you don't have to have. You can do a high drive boat with just a car license or just you don't need anything too much to be able to jump on the water. So no, I think it'll be a good thing. Yeah. So other than that, mate, I don't know. What else is happening?
What's going on with you the next few days? You asked me what's happening. Like, have you got? I think you're excited about this weekend, aren't you?
UFC's on this weekend. Yeah. I'm real keen for that. Like I'm not a massive UFC bloody fan or anything like that, but any of the big fights, I always buy any of the big fights.
Yeah.
Especially if there's any Australians. But there's who's fighting this weekend? The Australian guy.
I'm so out of the loop. I used to be so.
I haven't even looked at it. I just know it's Strickland and Duplessis is the main event. South African guy versus American guy.
Yeah.
I'm super keen to watch that. Like they're both very vocal guys and they've hyped it right up. They're the guys that had the punch up in the crowd at the last UFC.
Oh, is it? Okay, I did see that. Yeah.
So no, I'm looking forward to that. Should be a really good fight. Actually, the whole card I think is really good.
Yeah.
But that should be a really good fight. So I've got a new TV, mate, as you would know.
Yeah.
My missus has been complaining for ages because our TV broke about 8 months ago, and I don't really watch TV, so it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, this is not real happy. But when I was in Darwin, I took my old TV back because I had it on like that warranty, product care or whatever, and got a credit, and then went and had a look at new TVs. Then you blow on a few extra grand, and
you got a good one, did you?
Get a monster coming, mate. So
really? A good one?
I'll need a hand. Hopefully it's on the truck. Actually, it might be on the truck tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if it is, you're gonna have to come to town with me to give me a hand lifting it.
Well, that gives me something to do tomorrow.
Yeah. So that's a good point. We've got to slip in and pick up everyone's beer because the beer's coming down on the truck. So pick up everyone's beer, so no one gets thirsty. Pick up hopefully the TV if it's there. If not, it'll be on the weekend's truck. So hopefully we'll be able to pick it up Saturday then because the UFC's on Sunday. So it should be there. And then have to get you to give us a hand lifting it up, put it on the wall, mate.
Too easy.
She's a big jigger. So yeah. Then what else, mate? What else have I got on? Mowing lawns if the rain stops.
Which you can hear right now. There's just come over again with some heavy rain.
Yeah, it's absolutely belting down at the moment. So by the sounds of things, so although it doesn't really look like it, but sounds like it for sure. So what else have we got going on, mate? UFC on the weekend. Hopefully, if we get a good day or something like that, we might be able to get out. Like I was trying to get out fishing last week and the week before, I think it was. Had some people visiting, and I was trying to get out for a day, take someone fishing for a day, but mate, it's the same thing. You like in the morning's not so bad, but then by lunchtime it's building up and it's blowing 20 knots, and then you have these massive big thunderstorms, and you know what I'm like with lightning. Yeah. So I don't want to be anywhere near a graphite fishing rod or an aluminium boat, especially not in the middle of the river somewhere. So I never end up going out at all because it's just been, although we haven't had all that much rain, like these big storms have been building up every day. And you know what it's like, even though you don't get under one right here, you go 5Ks down the road or down the river and you get absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
Like, you can come back up the river and go through 3 storms in one trip, you know what I mean? So speaking of trips, mate, Spotify playlist, we haven't even touched on that.
Yeah, so we've got our Golf Mud Crabbers Spotify playlist, which we sort of mentioned a few episodes back. And a few people are actually listening to it and have been commenting. People have been recommending songs as well. There's actually one fella that recommended one, and I just added it straight away because it was such a banger. It was I can't even remember which one. It was a Tim McGraw song. Anyway, it's in the playlist. Yes, that went straight to the list. But typically to get a song on the list, it has to be nominated on the podcast. So I do have a nomination. It's a song that I had a very much a love-hate relationship with at first. Because I told you the story about before we started recording. Like, it was a song I hadn't heard before, and TikTok was advertising it to me. Like, it was literally paid sponsorship by Teddy Swims. Never heard of him. And this song, Lose Control, I would have seen the ad for this song, and I would have scrolled past it 4,000 times. So I'm like, well, why are they advertising? It's just next. Yeah. And then I put the new or newish feature on Spotify, Spotify DJ.
Yeah, I tried that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I put that on, and one of the first songs that came on that it recommended to me was "Lose Control" by Teddy Swims, and I have big speaker system at my place here and had it cranked up, and I'm like, wow, this is a good song, and this guy can sing. So yeah, so that's my nomination. I want to nominate that song for the Golf Mud Crabbers playlist on Spotify.
Sounds good, mate.
All right, approved.
Sounds good.
It's been approved.
So I've actually added a couple on there. You would have seen already.
Yeah.
I added one on there the other day, which is you and I both loved it. Well, everyone should love this song. It's "We Are Australian."
Oh yes, the Travis Collins version.
Travis Collins version,
which is a live version, and it's sensational.
Yeah, it's really good. With Australia Day coming up, it's that had to go on there. So if you haven't heard that version, go and listen to it because it is really good. But yeah, so for my song for now, I reckon Jelly Roll's very topical at the moment. So people would have seen that he just won New Artist at the CMAs, New Artist of the Year, and he's just been absolutely blowing up. Like he's on everyone's podcast, and that he's just going so good. And then won New Artist of the Year, been nominated for a Grammy. And this is a guy, if you don't know who he is, go and look him up. Like, does not look like a country singer at all. But he's an absolute legend. His speech at the CMAs when he won his award went viral like straight away. It was really, really good. And then also he just did a speech in Congress about talking about drug usage and stuff like that, fentanyl and stuff. So he's pretty inspirational. Yeah. He's got a heap of really, really good songs out, and he keeps bringing out good songs. Like, it seems like every other week he's got a new song out. But he's just collaborated with Jess Murph. Yeah. Jessie Murph.
A young 19-year-old.
Yeah, young girl. And I just really, really like that he jumped on with somebody that's sort of up and coming. Oh, she's doing pretty good actually. She's doing really good. But it's really good to see that he sort of jumped on and jumped on the track with her. And Wild Ones is the name of the track. But have a listen to it. It's sort of country hip hop sort of sort of vibe. Not really bro country, but it's sort of very, very modern sort of hip country. Yeah. But I love Jelly Roll, and Jess Murph's got a really, really cool sound, and awesome. And I think she's going really, really good. Like, she's really unique, awesome voice, and very topical as well. Like, on Theo Von's podcast the other day, he was talking about it heaps, and everyone's been talking about her heaps. So I think she was actually in Australia just before Christmas. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was at Perth. Pretty sure she did a thing in Perth. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so Wild Ones by Jess Murph, featuring Jelly Roll. That's my one for this week, mate.
That's going to go on the list.
So,
unreal.
But we'll try. I've got heaps,
we'll try and grow that list. Yeah, by a couple of songs every podcast. We'll nominate a song each. Yeah, and just keep that growing. You'll see that we did find the Noodle song in a previous podcast. We were trying to locate the Noodle song, which was a very inspirational song.
Yeah, one day. If you're trying to look for it in the playlist, it's the one you can't read.
Yeah, it's written in Cambodian.
It's in Khmer. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. The Noodle song. Yeah, it's like a gangster rap song.
and it's sung in Khmer as well. So in Cambodian. So
we love it. Yeah, Young Boy obviously introduced it to us.
It is pretty good though. So we'll try and do that every episode. Though we'll try and add a couple of songs, at least one each, and see how we go. Try and build that up a bit. Recommendations. Actually, I've seen some messages come through with some recommendations from some people.
Next podcast, we can actually do not a Q&A, but we can actually respond to it. We've got so many people that have messaged us now.
Emails, comments on the YouTube channel, and Facebook messages and stuff like that. Yeah, I've got heaps on my phone. So if I haven't, I've tried to respond to some people. There's already a lot of people, believe it or not. There's already a hell of a lot of people sending messages and stuff and emails. So if we haven't replied to you, it's not because we hate you. just hang tight. We'll get back to you. Yeah. And we'll try to get back to everyone anyway. Yeah. For now.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I reckon we shut it down, Bruss.
Right.
Oh, look at that.
Guys in the Golf.